Hello and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do a general braze. As a disclaimer, this is not and should not be used for med gas brazing. That type of certification requires a deeper penetration of the actual silver. This is just all-purpose general brazing that you're mostly going to use. So let's start off by using a tubing cutter. If you don't have a tubing cutter, you can use any kind of serrated blade. Just remember to ream the inside as well as the outside. I'm not reaming the outside because I use a tubing cutter and that gives me a relatively clean cut. I will do the inside just because when you cut with a tubing cutter, it leaves a slight ring on the inside, so you just want to take care of that. Make sure you use your sandpaper to clean the outside of the pipe as well as the inside of the fitting. You do not need to add flux to brazing joints when you're using phosphorus braced alloys like I am. I'm using Stay Silver 15, and when I say phosphorus, that means that it's self-fluxing. This can be found at any refrigeration supply house you go to. When setting up your oxygen and acetylene, it's best to go for oxygen between 10 to 15 psi and for acetylene between 5 to 10. When adjusting your torch flame, you don't want the cone in the center to be too large or too small. You want it to be about an inch from the torch itself, and that'll give you a decent heat. One simple trick I like to use is to apply just enough heat to the back of the fill material and then apply some force. Just give it a 90-degree bend, and then that'll give you a little bit more freedom when you position your fill material. Unlike brazing, you'll need to apply heat to the entire perimeter of the coupling as well as the pipe. This will ensure the entire joint is evenly heated. What I like to do is put a dab of fill material on the joint and then use that as a gauge for my heat. Once it starts flowing and the flame actually changes colors to green rather than blue, I know my temperature is adequate. Once your joint gets hot enough and you start adding silver, sweep your flame into the fitting, and that will allow for the silver to actually follow the heat and seal your coupling. If you notice all the silver outside on the top of the coupling, that's actually an indication that the inside of your coupling has silver in it. You don't want to see the outside of the coupling filled with silver, and you don't want to just cake it on, because you could potentially overfill your joint with silver and that could cause restriction, especially when dealing with smaller piping like you would in refrigeration, for example. It may not look like there's a lot of silver flowing into the joints, but trust me, as soon as I go to take off this joint at the end of the video, you will see just how much silver seeps into the joints. Always double check your joints to make sure you didn't miss anything on your joints, and if you have a void, make sure you fill that before completing the work. Alright, time to clean up your joint. Start off by getting a bucket and fill it with a little bit of water, then grab some rags or an old t-shirt and then soak it. After that, wipe down the pipe with the rag, and for additional cleaning you can use Scotch-Brite cloth or sandpaper. Make sure when you sand it, you get the pipe fitting and front and back. That's all it is for brazing. It's that simple. But now let's see what happens if you make a mistake and you need to remove a braze joint. So you accidentally made a mistake. You brazed a 90 when you're supposed to braze a T. No big deal. So first thing you want to do is grab a channel lock or pliers and use that to grab the end of your pipe. Next, start heating the joint as you normally would when you initially start brazing. Once you see the silver begin to liquidize around the entire joint, begin pulling the pipe out using your tool. And there you go, it's out. just remember to sand the inside and outside again. Also, look how much silver is on the entire length of the pipe. That shows just how much a little bit of silver can go a long way. If you have any other tips for me, feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Also, I will leave a link in the description to my how to solder video if you're interested in that. With that said, thanks for watching and have a good day.